Okay, got it. Close that. And we are live, as somebody says on TV. Yeah, so I'm Gideon Ariel, the Executive Director of Root Source. And with us today are, reading from left to right, our board members, Dave Pitcher, Al McCarn, Revis Daggett, and Ellie Ariel. And our guest is from our advisory board, is Pat Owen, and there she is. Hi, she waited for a real introduction. In a moment, I believe we'll join Elon Pomerantz and Ann Stacy, two others of our board members, to bring us up to 6. And then finally, Shelley Jones, our 7th board member, apologizes she won't be able to make it tonight, but she, as always, will be reviewing the board meeting recording, which is what we're doing here, and it's all up. I love being totally transparent. So I will now begin to share my screen. Second. We're starting about 6 minutes later than I like, but that's okay. Okay, let me close this there. Minutes of a meeting of the board of directors of Root Source. Call to order. As per Article 6, we can take an informal action. The board of the directors of this corporation affirmed their consent in writing with respect to the resolutions to act described below. That is what we will have done. So let me clarify that. The people who are here will have, as I said over here, what was the wording? Affirm their consent in writing to the agenda items, which that's what we're going to be reading through and discussing. And here are the people who affirmed, present and affirmed. So I will already, this is not September 28th, today is March 29, 2023. And so Revis, for example, is present. At the end, we will, everybody will say, yes, Gideon, you can copy and paste present and affirmed with me, and then everybody will be happy. Okay, so let's continue going. This document was prepared by the CEO and circulated by WhatsApp amongst all directors, and in some cases, that is this case, was discussed in detail via Zoom. This Zoom meeting was recorded, is being recorded, and is available as a copy of this document at rootsource.com board meetings, and its agenda items were agreed upon following the Zoom meeting held on Wednesday, March 29, 2023 at 8:30 p.m. Israel time, 12:30 after, not 12:30, it's 11:30 after, before noon, right? I made that wrong. Would somebody in Texas please tell me, yes, it is 11:30 now?
No, it's 12:30.
It is 12:30. So, don't try to double.
It's because we went through our time change, Gideon.
I think it was my time change, but since we have an outlier here, somebody who lives in Albuquerque, right, Dave?
Yeah.
And I met with him earlier today, so that confused me. Okay, so the directors present are, let us bring over Elisheva to here, and Ann just came in, but Elon is not here yet, so for now we'll move him over to here. Whoops, try that again. If he comes in, then we will move him again. So the directors that are meeting are Ellie, Al, Revis, Ann, and Dave. Those are the 5 of you here. The following guests were presented with this list of resolutions also, and were present at the Zoom meeting. Of course, Gideon was the presenter. Armando is not here tonight, but Patricia Owen is. If anybody else shows up, we will add them. And as I said, the following meeting members were presented with the list of resolutions, but that was what I uploaded on our advisory board WhatsApp group, and they were not present, but they afterwards reviewed the meeting as they saw fit, and they also affirmed it or not. As per Article 6, a quorum is required. I'll read this whole thing. Is required for business transactions and passages of motions. A quorum consists of at least 40% of board meetings present in person or through telephonic or video participation. Since 3 board members, which is more than 40% of 7 total, again, I'm not going to second guess myself, That is correct. 3 out of 7 is how much in percentages? Somebody can tell me that. But we, of course, have more. We have 5 already, and we probably will have 6. This meeting may proceed. If we would not have had 3 board members present by the meeting's end, this would be an informal action, which is also kosher. Okay, the agenda. If anybody has any questions or comments, as usual, please feel free to interrupt. The agenda of resolutions to act upon: review of the snapshot of finances as we do every quarter, review of report of activities of the first quarter, which we are now at the end of. I would also like to discuss the Dallas Gala dinner idea that I had, and also discuss fundraising and marketing. Review snapshot of finances, March 28th, 2023. That is when we took the snapshot. That was a day ago. So here, let us click through this. Sorry that I didn't have it prepared. Let me already click through the next link so it'll be ready when we want it open also. And here comes the balances, which is what we are going to review. Okay, so we have our money in numerous accounts and numerous places. So this is what we have. We have 46. I'm going to round things to the nearest thousand or so. 47,000 shekels in our Israeli account, which is about $13,000. We have $30,000 in the dollar account in our Israeli account. We do that. We keep some money in dollars so that we can transfer it as soon as we need it and not have to wait 3 or 4 days to get it from our American account. Also, because the Israeli account is a separate entity, so in actuality, the American 501c3 retains the Israeli company and has to pay them, I believe it's something like $7,000 plus expenses a month. So when we have $30,000 in the Israeli account, or even $45,000, then we're not too thirsty or hungry for the money, so we let it pile up for a few months. That's okay. So our expenditures are divided between America and Israel. In other words, a few of our expenditures, including the executive director's salary and the payments that we make to our Israeli accountant and my cell phone, my computer stuff, that kind of thing. What we have to pay in Israel, we send from America to Israel. What we don't have to pay in Israel, like, for example, the cost of our internet services or our email, not our internet services, that I pay here, our email platform, it's about $100 a month. The services that we get from our Filipino assistants, that we pay them directly. Many of our teachers prefer to get paid directly from America. So those are the expenses that get paid in America. What happens in America stays in America, something like that. And that is how we do expenses. We're not going to review that tonight unless somebody would like to, but this is the status that we are right now. Our PayPal Israel is where we have money. We still get some money from people who signed on to RootSource, some of them almost a decade ago. And so we're still getting about $600 a month through there. And we take out the money there every month or two. Gumroad, when we took the snapshot yesterday, there was no money in the Gumroad account. We still have something. We have some things that we sell in Gumroad, like the Bless Israel books that we sell. And this past at some point recently, they also send us their money. In other words, we don't have to go in and take out the money from Gumroad. Every 2 weeks, they send it to us. So evidently, they sent it to us, and since then, we didn't have any money. Also, Payoneer is where we get our royalties from the Amazon books that people buy directly from Amazon. And that comes out to a few pennies a book. And so today, actually, we have close to like $60 there, but yesterday we had $0. Today I saw that we got paid from Amazon into our Payoneer account. But again, I try to take that money out once a month. In GiveButter is our platform through which our donors give their donations. Right now, we have a balance there of $2,600. A half a year ago or so, in September, I'm sorry, I missed it. Here comes Armando. Welcome. Armando, when hopefully he'll say hello when he comes in. I won't be able to see it. Oh yes, I will in a moment. Shalom, Armando. How are you? Armando.
Shalom.
Oh, I'm sorry we started without you. Thank you for showing up. We're in the middle of presenting the financials. So I was just saying how for years, thank God, we were getting money from various fundraising activities that we've done, and everything is either given to us through Give Butter, or if, for example, we get a check, then we enter it there. So all of our income, all of our donated income, which right now I think is 100% of our income, is listed there. But I was in no rush to move it over. Towards the end of 2022, I said, "Oh boy, we're getting really low here." So I moved about $60,000 or more dollars over to America, and so that's why we have $50,000 in a row. I'm sorry, I skipped a line. That is why we don't have $38,000 in Give Butter. That's this line. We have only $2,000 because we get about $1,000 a month, even if we don't run a specific fundraising campaign, because thank God we have about 1,000, as I will show in a few moments, we have about $1,000 worth of monthly recurring donations. Thank you very much to our monthly recurring donors. RHO is our American bank. And right now, like I said, we had a quarter ago, we only had $1,500 there. Yikes. So I said, okay, it's time to take the money out of the Give Butter account. And so that's why today we have about $50,000 there. We have no money en route or pending. We have $5,000 en route and pending from the Nathaniel Foundation, who approved a grant of $5,000 for us specifically to market the list and the list 2020 and the list 2020-21 and further books and other books of Root Source to libraries. So we asked for, I think, $10,000. They give us $5,000, something like that. Thank you very much to the Nathaniel Foundation. All together, all of these monies that we have all over the place comes out to $105,000. This is a bit lower than the $130,000 we had 3 months ago. And maybe I'll get to, but that's not the end of the world. Here we saw that in June last year, we only had 105 also. So it's still a nice buffer. But I hopefully will talk about that later when we start talking about fundraising. Okay, next. So the total. So here are some trends, or maybe not trends, but some things that I asked, and so I'm showing it to you. Since January 1st, we got $47,000 in. I think that included a check of $40,000 or $20,000. A nice tens of thousands of dollars from the December grant that we got from the Nathaniel Foundation. I do believe that grant was specifically for something that had to do with the Institute of Midrashic Studies of the New Testament. Maybe I'll discuss that a little bit more. Maybe Dr. Pitcher, who is here, who's the academic director of that project, will talk about it. And like I said, since January 1st, we got $2,900 directly into Give Butter, not counting the $5,000 pledge. Okay, so how many total unique donors have we had this year? This is obviously a mistake. It's not this year, it's all time. I'm pretty sure it's all time. That means that 287 individuals gave to Root Source. Some gave once, some gave a lot of times. But we have 287 donors since we became a 501c3 and started using Give Butter for our fundraising. I'm very pleased to see how many donors we have. all time. Wow, this is quite impressive. Again, all time means since about, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. I believe it was, I don't remember when it was, June 2019, 2021. Don't remember any exactly. Here, Ellie is remembering. And $377,000. Again, I cannot but say thank you to the Nathaniel Foundation. We have a very good relationship with them. They don't give us free money. We submit very detailed grant requests, as do dozens of other nonprofit organizations. And sometimes they give, sometimes they don't. But evidently, they think that we are worth donating to. I would say about 80 or 90%, the Pareto rule of our income has been coming from the Nathaniel Foundation. It's something like 95% comes from 286 donors, and 20% comes from one donor. That's about the okay, that is the total row, which means it includes checks. Frankly, I don't really understand how this is 377,000 and this is only 316. Why is Give Butter all time not include about $60,000? Where did $60,000 come if not through Give Butter? Not sure. I'll have to check it out. I don't understand. Obviously, this is a question that I've had an answer for every quarter because there's always a discrepancy over here. So it never, evidently, if it bothered me, then I came to a solution. Okay, so here are unique Give Butter donors all time. So that is the right number. That is why it's listed twice. That's a mistake. I think that our donors this year in January and February and March came closer to 67. Let me look that up, give you guys a chance to see the Give Butter dashboard for a moment. Second. This is all time since January 1st, 2016. No, but we didn't. I guess I opened it in January. We started getting money in 2019, but I don't want to see all time. I want to see year to date. This is really cool. $2,900, as I saw. 37 supporters this year. And even that, I'm not 100% sure that that's real. I have to check it, but that's good enough. Let us go back and fix it. I said 37. Okay. Total all time and total Give Butter all time and unique donors all time. Current active recurring Give Butter plans. 22 people. Some are giving us $10 a month. Some I think are giving us even $500 a month. Certainly at least one person on this call is giving us $100 a month. You know who you are. If you don't know who you are, ask me and I'll remind you. And so that means that we get about $1,300 a month of recurring donations. That means that I don't have to ask somebody every month, please give us. That is the best kind, that is the easiest kind of donation. I'd rather have somebody give me $100 a month than give me $1,500 a year. That is the conventional wisdom amongst fundraisers, amongst the directors of development. That being said, if you'd rather give $1,500 once a year than giving $100 a month, then I'll be very pleased and grateful for that as well. That is the way it works. People give because they want. I might have to remind them. I might have to give them some information if they ask, and I might have to knock on their door to say, "Well, do you have any questions?" But that's the way I run things. I try not to be a hard seller. 35. What's this? 35. Unique PayPal donors. Okay, this is going down. A year ago, or this is 2 years, a year ago, or a year and a quarter ago, 74 people were still giving monthly. There's a lot of attrition there because it's not they're not giving to the 501c3, they're giving directly to the Israeli company. And that is, and I'm trying to get that out. It's not good for our bookkeeping. And it's not that, and there's 1 or 2 or 3 people who I've been in touch with. Most of those givers, they're not communicative. I send them emails, they don't respond. A few of them, they respond. They said, do you mind moving your donation over to the Give Butter? Some of them say, okay. Some of them said, what? I'm still giving you money, and they cancel. That's the way it goes. we have, but as you can see, that has been going down from over $1,000. For some reason I don't have the number here, it doesn't matter, but from close to $1,000 a year ago, and now we're down to $576 a month, including the annual prorated. A few people give us like $200 a year, so prorate that to like $18 a month or something like that. We have 3 people who are giving us through Gumroad. I'm trying to get rid of that, but they're giving us $50, $40 a month. So that's it. So it comes out to close to $2,000 a month. That keeps us breathing. That is the money. Any questions about that? Any comments? Okay, so quickly, other things that I'm happy to share, even though I see I have some questions about that. For some reason today we have, the problem is with Aweber. Aweber is our email newsletter platform. We send out our weekly email newsletter through a company called Aweber. And the thing is that they list their actual subscribers and also total subscribers, including subscribers that cancel. That if we see the bigger number that includes the canceled, I don't really want to count them. So it sometimes is confusing. So I'm not sure for sure what's going on. I don't know why this went up. I think this is because we counted the 1523. So I think the 1191 does not include the 1523. So when you add the 1523 to 1191, that comes out to about 12, 13 something. So that's probably it. This included, and this doesn't include. So this is another 1,000 without that 1,500. Yes or yes, no, not sure. YouTube subscribers is growing slowly, another 60 in the quarter. YouTube views is growing nicely, getting close to 750,000 views. That sounds like a lot. There are some YouTubers that get that many views on a single video. But whatever, we don't have to compare ourselves to them. It's growing, as you can see, it went up 3.6. It's really impressive, actually. It's been going up about 1.2 on the average per quarter. Now it went up twice as much. Maybe I'll look into that tomorrow morning. Vimeo is where we keep our website videos. Again, for some reason, I decided to count how many views since the beginning of the year. We only had a little under 1,000. But so this minus 75% isn't really fair. This is the number of views for all of 2022. This is the number of views for 3 months in 2023. So to say that we went down 25% doesn't make sense. But whatever. Okay, I added these. How many books have we sold this year? We sold 13 ebooks, 28 paperback books, 2 hardcover books. We made in royalties $200. Thank you very much. Our Gumroad books are books that are sold directly through us, and we get a lot more money out of that, as I've written on our website. We tell the people something like, if you buy on Amazon, we get a few pennies royalties. If you buy through our Bless Israel, then we get a lot more pennies. So please, if you don't mind, buy through our Bless Israel edition. By the way, that usually costs $1 less or so than the normal price on Amazon. So it's win-win. But Amazon loses, but I don't think they're crying too much. So we made another $500 that way. Give me a second here to hide this. And that's it. That is the numbers that I wanted to present. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Sounds like nobody had any questions or comments. So we will continue. Thank you very much. Yeah, so yeah, it's taking a little bit longer. I guess it's the first quarter. Now we're going to talk about the review of activities. This is a report that we submit quarterly. The First Melissa Church in Melissa, Texas, that some number of years ago was kind enough to put us on their monthly or quarterly or whatever tithing or whatever. And they asked for a report, a quarterly report, And they said, you don't have to give us a report specially, but I found that I'd like to make a report specially for them and then to share it here. Yes, since January 1st, 2023, we have focused on or completed the following specific activities in Root Source. This is in addition to sending our weekly email newsletter to about, this is not true already for a while, closer to 15,000 subscribers. We, of course, publish daily on our blog, Facebook, and Twitter accounts, and we respond to all correspondence. Whatever you name it, we get it, and here are our activities. We launched the book, The List 2021. We held an online virtual launch for that book featuring Rabbi Ken Spiri teaching about anti-Semitism. Recently, we guided on site in Hebron because tourists are now returning to Israel since COVID, and we are engaging with visitors more and more. We hosted a group of Bible Students Alliance for Israel's Future in Hebron. The Institute of Midrashic Studies of the New Testament. In the last quarter, our fellows submitted 4 more articles to peer-reviewed journals, including one published by Cambridge University Press. We are pursuing recruitment of fellows for the 2023 academic year. We are also pursuing partnerships with universities and seminaries worldwide. Don't hold your breath. We're barely about to start doing that, but we're preparing. I like to prepare well before I start something, and hopefully it will be successful. A quarterly report about what we have done is available on the website. You'll be able to click it there. I'm not going to do that now. Light up the church. Oh, sorry, Dr. Dave. I know that I hurried you that you would create that report by now, and we're not going to look at it now, but other people can click through it later on. It's the beginning of the day by most of you guys. Light Up the Church. We launched the Light Up the Church monthly newsletter. Light Up the Church we held in November. And in January, we launched the Light Up the Church monthly newsletter, which reaches over 2,000 recipients who signed our declaration, besides our regular Root Source newsletter list, who we sent it to, even though they didn't sign up for it, because they get a lot of things anyway. And that gives a monthly sampling of Holocaust and Kristallnacht related news. You can click through to see our latest edition. Conversations. Pastor Alan Latta of Granbury, Texas, joins Dr. Richard Booker in weekly talks with Root Source CEO Gideon Ariel. Now, that is not phrased very clearly, or it's phrased clearly, but not very truly. Richard Booker has been talking with me every week. About 2 years ago, I challenged him to do that, and he said, okay, and he's holding on. Really impressive. That being said, some weeks he can't do it, some weeks I can't do it, but so we're up to here. If he doesn't show, then we don't have something, which is not the end of the world. But I would like to see more conversations with other people as well. Our board member here, Ann Stacy, encouraged that Pastor Alan Latta to do that with me. And we have been doing it. We've already had 2 such meetings, and they're online, and was just in the middle of watching one before she joined the meeting now. And I hope to have more and more of those. Halavai that I should have a daily conversation with 7 different people or 28 different people, somebody different every day for once a month. Who knows? Our teachers. We are proud. Again, anybody has anything to say, please jump in. We are proud to add Dr. Benny Benjamin to our faculty. Dr. Benjamin is the recently retired head psychologist of the Israel National Employment Service. And he teaches the new and popular course, The Bible at Work, Career Coaching in the Torah. From time to time, I just say, this is really amazing what a small country Israel is. Like, I know all of these, the director of employment in Israel, like this would be like the what do you got? The cabinet, the secretary of employment, Anyway, book distribution. We received and fulfilled orders for 2,400 copies of the 5 Years with Orthodox Jews. We also ran, that is the ordinary. We obviously don't get that many orders usually, but somebody wanted to buy a lot of orders for that. And we ran a campaign to give away over 200 digital copies of Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz's commentary on the book of Esther. I hope that some, if not all of you, have downloaded that and have enjoyed it. I can now say, even though we haven't done it yet, well, we did actually. We sent it out last Thursday and last Tuesday, and we're going to send it out tomorrow, I think, also. And that is Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz, one of our teachers, also wrote a commentary on the Haggadah, the Passover book. And that is also available for download. So I don't know if we are going to count how many digital copies, which was probably a mistake, but we'll fudge a number. It doesn't matter. But we're very pleased to distribute that book. Book pipeline. We're close to completing. I don't usually report what we are about to do, but what we actually did. But this is what we've been working on quite a lot this month. We're close to completing the manuscript of the list 2022, which we plan to launch in the summer of 2023. That's this summer at the Nation's Ninth Vav event. And we are almost completing the proceedings, another book, the proceedings of the Nathaniel Foundation Root Source, Nathaniel Foundation Shavuot Symposium, which we plan to launch in October 2023. Why October? Because that's when we are going to do, maybe it will be September actually, I think so. Just today I discussed it. Second. September 2023 is when we are going to have the next symposium, which will be about Sukkot, tabernacles, exciting stuff. We haven't started planning that yet. Marketing and fundraising coaches, with your permission, I will discuss this later, but I'll say it here in this order. We've begun working with Arnie Drayman, a seasoned Israeli-American philanthropy consultant, which has already resulted in over $5,000 of gifts and pledges. Our marketing campaign plans are still not ready, primarily for financial reasons. We'll talk about that in a few moments. In professional educational training, our CEO Ariel participating in a Leader Institute digital marketing training in Jerusalem, and an intensive guiding course in Hebrew on the Temple Mount. That was a lot of fun. Maybe this year I will do a course about the Temple Mount. I think that will be quite popular. GuideStar, Root Source is proud to bear a GuideStar Silver Star of Transparency. We did that last year also, but this year we renewed it. And I think this year, maybe next year, we will be able to get a Platinum Star also. That, of course, that and a quarter will get you on the subway, but it's bragging rights. Media appearances. Christian media personality Lisa Worley visited Gidon in his home and published a teaching on Pearls of Promises Ministry on Facebook. I think I downloaded that and put it on our site somewhere. I also spoke at the Vertical Galilee House of Prayer. I spoke there for 2 hours, and hopefully tomorrow or next week, it will be uploaded on our site as a course. What exactly I said there, I'm not sure. We'll see. Finally, I meet with an average of 10 friends a week from Israel and all over the world, from not only from Israel, from the United States, Israel, and all over the world on Zoom and in person. That is what I've been doing this month. I've also been cleaning for Passover. Okay. Okay, so that means that we have reviewed the report of activities for Q1 2023. Any comments, questions? Okay, next comes the Dallas Gala Dinner idea. I don't have anything to show for this, so I'll just say it. I will show you all while I talk. Hi, everybody. Yes, so I had a talk with a member, I think she's a member, pretty sure she's a member of our advisory group. She's certainly a good friend, Parthenia Antoine. And I mentioned how, I used to go to America every quarter to Dallas 9 times in 2 years. And I said, on the one hand, I loved it. On the other hand, it was quite a lot of energy expending. I often would spend like 2 months preparing my itinerary for a 2 or 3 week trip. And sometimes somebody would, I would arrive at somebody's office for a meeting and he would say, Oh, that's today. I thought it was next week. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you're coming back in a couple of months. We'll meet you then. Really. And it was anyway. So, and now, especially since COVID, people are more used to and more willing to meet on Zoom, and it is tremendously easier and more comfortable. I mean, it's true. It's not the same thing as being there, but it's like 80, 90%, if I can give it a number. So it's hard to convince me to go to America. Other people have been going to America, and I have a bit of FOMO, fear of missing out, when I see so many of my friends, meeting with so many of my friends in Texas and elsewhere. But that's not enough to jump on a plane. And it's not jumping on a plane, it's spending months preparation. Anyway, so that is why you guys have not been able to shake my hand or hug me for years. Of course, you can come to Israel. Some of the people here have done so, but I'm talking about taking notes in a Starbucks on Interstate 75 or whatever it is in the Dallas area. That's my stopping grounds. I like it. Anyway, Parthenia said, listen, it wasn't what she said. We discussed it and it came out. Why don't you come once a year? That way it'll be more special and people won't say, oh, I'll come here in 3 months, no big deal. You say once a year. Okay, it's something serious. Then he or she or I said, how about if we make a gala event when you come? So I said, yeah, I like to, you remember I did the bridge builders. I like to bring friends together. So I will do like a bridge builders gala, the Root Source Bridge Builders Gala. I will, the income, the expenses, of course, will be out of Root Source's pocket. So the income will be as well. But I will also invite some of our many friends. I don't know who's going to show up, but we'll invite them to bring videos, maybe. I don't know. Now I'm thinking of ideas. Friends, Ari and Jeremy, Tuli Weiss, Rabbi Yehuda Glick, all of our teachers. Everybody's got something that they're doing. And that way, the Christians who will come, many of whom, so many of these people. So it's just like for the same reason that I like to go to Dallas. Why do I go to Dallas? To meet with old friends and to meet new friends. So the old friends of all these Israelis will be happy to see them again. And the new people will be happy to meet them. So I think that will be an enticing event. Just earlier this evening, I spoke also with our friend Victoria Sarvati, and she thought that was a good idea. So that is the idea. So first I want to hear if anybody says, you know what, it's not a good idea. Here's a reason. Anybody have a reason to say that? Yes. Okay. However, I first asked to see if anybody wanted to say yes, because the way that a dinner works is that you ask people to commit as best as they can to either buy or sell a table. Right now, the number that I'm thinking of is $250 a table. I'm sorry, $250 a plate. Will that mean $2,000 a 10-person table? $2,500 a 12-person table? Not sure yet. We have to figure out where we're going to do it. We have to see how much we are going to step out in faith in order to pay for this. I'm pretty sure that I did the first Root Source breakfast. We called it the conciliatory or reconciliation breakfast. It was in the Dallas Bible Art Museum or something like that. Y'all remember that? Any of you were there? It was a lovely event. I'm pretty sure I started it out as saying we're going to charge $100, $200 a plate. After a few weeks, I said, gee, nobody was going to buy this. I didn't go to the Leadership Institute training on how to do this yet. So I said, you know what, heck with this. I'm going to maybe downgrade it a little bit, but I'm going to make it free. And yeh ma sheyeh, whatever it'll be, it'll be. it ended up costing us, I think, about $5,000. I think the hall cost about $2,000, and the breakfast also probably about $2,000-3,000, whatever it was. And lo and behold, without telling anybody that that's how much it cost, I don't even remember. I mean, I might have, the way non-professional fundraisers say, hey, if anybody wants to give some money, but I think that somebody gave me a check for $5,000 and covered it. But this event will probably have to be more than that. I want it to be, I think. The bottom line is people want to come to an impressive event, even though I think that was impressive. Kids are not sure. I only came up with this idea a couple of days ago. But in any case, we're probably going to make about 100 people, $200 is $20,000 more or less is going to be the income. Bezrat Hashem. Will the expenses be about $20,000? Maybe. But even if the income will be $20,000, that's a dent, but not much more than a dent in our annual expenses. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. So to summarize my presentation of this plan, usually I like to present plans that are well written out. This time I wanted to share it with you because I just came up with it. I'm excited about it. And I'm going to ask you, please pray about this, to commit to buy or sell a table. What does buy or sell a table mean? Buy a table means, yalla. Obviously, I'm not expecting anybody to pledge right now because I don't even know how much it's going to cost. It'll take a few weeks to pick this up. Let's say it's $2,000. It's, like I said, $250 a chair. A whole table will cost $2,000. So somebody says, okay, I'll give you $2,000. I would have given you anyway this year. Here's another $2,000, whatever. I don't my friends for free. To sell a table is to tell people, listen, this is how much it costs, $250. You can afford it, come, that kind of thing. So one way or another. However, the only way it's going to succeed is if I have a majority, preferably an absolute majority of committee members who will step up and do that for Root Source. Now, I have a list of potential people that I'm going to be approaching, besides my executive board and advisory board. But it would be very nice if some of you do that. The people who buy a table will probably have we'll feature them on our materials. You know how you guys have been to more gala dinners than I've been to birthday parties of my own kids. So you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, that is the idea. Think about it, pray about it, and especially if you will be willing to certainly to help financially by buying a table or committing to buy a table, but also to help come up with new ideas. What should the program be? What kind of material should we have? You guys go. I went to a few dinners when I was in Dallas, but I remember that from a long time ago. You guys do it, once a month, once a week. I don't know. That's the way it goes in America. So your help will be very much appreciated. Okay. Any other questions? I think I'm done. Or please comments on that.
I've got a comment.
Thank you, sir.
So this morning you mentioned that maybe we could have a what did you call it? A symposium of the inviting people from around the country or whatever that are publishing on Midrashic studies. Perhaps maybe next year, maybe it's too soon this year, but maybe perhaps in 2024, you could combine the gala dinner and make that the conclusion of that symposium. So a symposium throughout the day, and then maybe with a breakfast, and then maybe the gala dinner at the evening.
An interesting idea, very interesting idea. I will just share with everybody else. Dr. Pitcher and I, of course, run the Institute for Midrashic Studies of the New Testament. As I told Dr. Pitcher earlier today, when we started, I thought that he was the only guy who puts Midrash and New Testament in the same sentence. It ends up there have been other scholars who have been doing that over the decades, but nobody's been doing it the way that Dr. Pitcher is doing it. So I thought that we would put together an academic conference for anybody who's doing it in any way to come and present the paper to raise the tide of academic studies of the Midrash and the New Testament. And people can argue also, said, oh, your theory is bonkers, but my theory is the only one that makes sense. And the other guy says, no, you're wrong. These academics are. Anyway, that was the idea we had. Again, it was an idea we just came up with a couple of hours ago, so I didn't even put it on the agenda tonight. But that idea of combining them is certainly something that that makes sense. The dynamic and the relationship between the New Testament, the Institute for Midrashic Studies of the New Testament, which is a project of Root Source, and Root Source itself is one that we'll see how it develops. Right now, my feeling is that the Institute is the most popular fundraising-wise project of Root Source. And I think it's because it's on a higher level. I mean, we're basically, what do they call it? Boxing above our weight, but we're pretending to be a university. So that's why people, I think, say, okay, universities get millions and tens and hundreds of millions of dollars. To you, we'll give tens of thousands of dollars, which for a budget of $150,000 a year goes a long way. Okay, and which brings us, thank you very much, Dave, which brings us to the last thing. Discussing fundraising and marketing. Gideon described the work he's doing with Arnie and why he didn't start working with Avery and what's next. Okay, so with your permission, we're running a little bit longer than I like. But a couple of, as you might remember, I've been saying what we need to do in Root Source is to get a lot more Christians in the orbit of Root Source, in the radius of Root, in the circle of Root Source, so that people have heard about it. So that means subscribe to our newsletter. So for that, right now we have 15,000 people that subscribe to our newsletter. We have about 3,000 opens, about 100 clicks, and ultimately maybe 1 or 2 most wanted responses. You don't get anywhere in internet marketing with 1 or 2 unless you're selling Lamborghinis. So what we need is 10 times that much to begin with. So in order to do that, in my lasot, it's not like I'm going to go to somebody who says, here, take 15,000 email addresses and spam them. No, that's the way it works. It's to get in front of the eyeballs of potential subscribers and convince them, in other words, to make them feel, yeah, I want to subscribe to that. That's the way everybody until now has subscribed, and that's the way we need to do it for more. So something that like that costs money. De facto, it's I don't know if it's $1 cost of acquisition per new person, or oops, just 1 second. I'm on a call. I'll call you back. I don't know if it's $1 or $2. I haven't done the thing. Bottom line is though that Avery. Okay, I can't talk to you now. Avery said that it would cost about $15,000 a month to do anything worth doing. At first, it would probably cost about $10,000 a month, but that's the way it goes. Anyway, I looked at the numbers that I just showed you before I actually put them down, and I thought we were down to like $60,000, not 105. So I said, "Uh-oh, what's going to be?" Baruch Hashem. I was again. You all remember that when we opened up the 501c3, we had $83 in the bank account. So now we have 100, and so even if we'd have 60, that gives us a little room. But I had a few minutes of a sleepless night that day. But Baruch Hashem, I b'chol זאת fell asleep, and I think I'm back on track. Things are going to be good. That's one side of the three-pronged thing that must be done. The second prong is fundraising to make sure that we get the money to pay for that until we have a system that of those 150,000, right now we have 15,000 subscribers and we have 250 donors. So if we'll have 150 donors, we'll have 2,500 donors. And that will hopefully be able to give us enough money. So I just started a few weeks ago, working with Arnie. He's a coach, and like I already said, we've already raised about $5,000. It's not exactly my style, but it's working. We push the envelope. I'm happy, and hopefully within a few months we'll get a system ready that we'll be able to actually hire somebody, preferably in Texas, that will be able to help do the fundraising. Organizations in Israel that can't afford it have somebody on the ground in the United States to represent them and to fundraise. Bezrat Hashem. But finally, I will just say one moment, the most important part, not the most important part, but a very important part of all this, the third part of it, is bringing more teachers into Root Source. By having more Christians into Root Source, availing themselves of the content. Right now we have about 1,000, 1,500, whatever, Root Source teachings. We could keep it like that, relatively dormant. But as you might remember, I want Root Source to be the YouTube of Jews teaching Christians and Jews interacting with Christians. For that, we need more than a dozen and a half Jewish teachers. So that's why I hope once we have enough teachers, enough students that will watch more than 50 views on the average per teacher. You know, a teacher, if he or she records 50 lessons, but only gets 50 views the whole year, they're going to say, well, what's this joke? So that is why I want to grow it to 10 times as much. Teachers will get 500 views on the average. They'll say, okay, it's not 100,000. All right, so I'm not Beyonce, or I don't know the biggest. I'm not Charlie. He bit me, but 500 views that will give me $100 pocket money a year, more or less. Bezrat Hashem. So that's what we're going to see. Okay, so that is where we're holding this year. I didn't write down what I hope to do this next quarter, but I report that to you guys when something's worth recording on the WhatsApp group. Whereas there was anybody have anything else to say? Thank you all very much. Therefore, whereas there's no further business, therefore resolved that all the items and documents have been examined by all directors and are approved and adopted, and all these actions taken thus far have been ratified and approved by the directors of the corporation. There being no further business, the meeting was adjourned, and now we will sign again. Revis Daggett, voila, Revis, she was here. Is she still here? Looks like she had to jump ship. Okay, but she was here for sure. So she was present and affirmed. Ellie, would you like me to sign for you?
Yes, please sign for me.
Thank you. You signed. Anne, can I do the same? Thank you. Al, may I do the same?
Yes.
Okay. Shelley wasn't here. We'll get her. Did Elon show up? Did anybody remember that? Guess not. So we'll ask him why he didn't show up. No. And Dave was here. Thank you all very, very much. Really. And it's a pleasure doing these things, these quarterly reviews. I try my best to do a good job of being the executive director of this organization, including my commitment and responsibility towards my board. And Pesach Kasher V'Sameach.
Yes.
Shalom,
Thank
shalom.
you. Shalom. Thank you, Gidon.
תודה רבה.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. It was nice seeing you.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much, Ann.